Greetings, Heartland fans! This is Roy, and you're tuned in to Next Door, your number one home for everything Heartland, where we dive deep into the emotions, journeys, and unforgettable moments that have made this series a part of our lives. If you believe in the power of storytelling, the beauty of second chances, and the magic of Heartland as much as I do, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss a moment with us. Today's video is truly something extraordinary, and honestly, I'm feeling emotional just thinking about it. We're diving into a moment we've all dreamed about, cried over, and prayed for: Borden's breathtaking return in Heartland Season 19, Episode 1. Ty's homecoming promises not only answers, but also a journey of deep healing, powerful reunions, and the rekindling of a love story we thought was lost forever after years of heartbreak, silent prayers, and the emptiness his absence left behind. We are witnessing the beginning of a brand new chapter filled with hope, love, and the timeless magic that only Heartland can deliver today, Heartlanders. Grab some tissues because we are not just watching a show today. This episode is not just about shock, it's about reconnection, redemption, and rekindling lost hope. We'll walk through every powerful step: Amy's emotional reaction, Lindy's innocent recognition, Jack's wisdom, Lou's conflict, Georgie's strength, Tim's tough but tender heart, and finally, that tear-jerking private conversation between Ty and Amy. So grab a warm drink, find a cozy seat, and let's step into one of Heartland's most unforgettable episodes together. Before we explore Ty's return, we have to go back to the very moment he left us. Ty Borden wasn't just a central character, he was the emotional heartbeat of Heartland. Ty's arc was a journey of growth, love, and redemption, from being a troubled teen placed on the ranch as part of his probation to becoming a devoted partner to Amy, a father to Lindy, and a compassionate animal healer. His sudden death in Season 14 came as a shock. After being shot while protecting Amy, and later dying from a blood clot, the world of Heartland, both on-screen and off, was shaken to its core. Every fan shared Amy's devastation. The barn felt emptier. The air was quieter. Even the horses seemed more solemn. Amy struggled, but she didn't give up. She found strength in Lindy, leaned on Jack's wisdom, and rebuilt her identity piece by piece. But Ty's death overshadowed everything, even as she moved forward. His memory lived in every fence post, every trail ride, every whisper of the wind across the fields. And yet, fans never stopped hoping. Could there still be a miracle? Could Ty ever come back? Heartland's writers didn't just bring Ty back out of nowhere. They planted subtle seeds throughout season, 18 gentle nods that whispered to the audience that Ty's story might not be finished. There were moments when Amy would wake from dreams, her face wet with tears, murmuring Ty's name. Lindy, in her innocence, would say things like, "I saw Daddy in the clouds," or "I heard him in the barn." Jack would sometimes pause mid-sentence when talking about Ty, as if he sensed something deeper. These were not merely recollections. They were clues, soft emotional brushstrokes, painting the backdrop for a return that would feel both magical and grounded. Season 19 of Heartland opens not with grand fanfare, but with a breathtaking quiet stillness, the kind that hints something extraordinary is about to happen. The sky is soft and wide, with shades of early morning blue brushed across it. A gentle breeze stirs the fields, carrying with it the weight of unspoken hopes and old memories. Inside the barn, Amy gently brushes Spartan's mane, her movements steady, but her heart heavy, her mind lost in the quiet ache of missing pieces. Nearby, little Lindy runs free through the fields, chasing butterflies under the open sky, a picture of innocence, unaware of the miracle about to unfold. And then, it happens. The lens moves in the direction of the tree line, where the shadows appear to breathe. A figure slowly steps forward, older, worn by time, but unmistakable. Ty Borden. The world itself seems to hold its breath. The light shifts. The air thickens. And in a single heartbeat, everything changes. Ty is home. Amy stares in disbelief when she looks up and actually sees him. Her breath catches. The brush slips from her fingers and clatters to the floor. Her hands fall still against Spartan's warm coat. Her wide, tear-brimmed eyes lock onto the impossible sight before her. She stumbles back, whispering, "No, it can't be." Ty steps forward, cautious but steady. The depth of years is reflected in his eyes. He calls her Amy. Just one word. But it carries the weight of 1,000 unspoken promises. His voice, though a little roughened by time, sounds like a song her soul never stopped singing. Amy moves tremblingly toward him, uncertain as to whether she is still entangled in one of her endless dreams. "Ty, do you really exist?" she whispers, her voice breaking with equal parts hope and heartbreak. Without a word, Ty reaches out and brushes his hand across her cheek. Real, solid, warm. In that fragile, breathtaking moment, the years of grief, the sleepless nights, the aching silence, all of it shatters. Amy collapses into his arms, sobbing into the chest she thought she'd never feel again. He holds her tightly as if not even time itself could pull them apart again. And for one perfect moment, the world outside simply stops. Later, as the golden afternoon light spills through the barn doors, Amy sits beside him, needing answers, needing to understand how this miracle could be real. Ty explains, his voice raw with emotion. He had survived the attack, but was left injured and disoriented. A kind stranger found him, cared for him, and for years, Ty lived without memory of who he was or where he belonged. Only recently have shards of his previous life resurfaced to direct him there. Back to the family, the love, and the life he fought so hard to find again. "I knew," he says, his voice cracking. "I had to find my way home." Tears of sorrow melt into tears of unimaginable relief. Amy realizes this isn't a dream. He's here. He found his way back to her. Then comes the most heart-shattering moment of all. Little Lindy, with her tiny boots tapping softly on the barn floor, walks in clutching a dandelion. She sees Ty kneeling by Spartan, studying him curiously. With the innocent wonder only a child can hold, she looks up at Amy and asks, "Mommy, who is that?" Amy, still shaken but composed, crouches down beside her daughter. "That's your daddy," Amy says. Lindy's eyes widen, her small hands clutching her stuffed horse tightly. She walks toward him slowly, curious but unafraid. Ty looks at her, overwhelmed. "Hi, Lindy," he says gently. "I'm your dad." Lindy pauses, studying him. Then, in the most innocent and powerful moment of the episode, she reaches out and touches his hand. "You look like the man in the picture next to my bed," she says with a soft smile. "I dream about you sometimes." Ty's eyes fill with tears. He kneels fully, wraps his arms around her, and holds her as if he never wants to let go again. Lindy pulls back just enough to look at him and says, "You smell like horses." Everyone laughs, and in that instant, the ranch feels whole again. Jack Bartlett, the solid rock of Heartland, brings his signature blend of wisdom and quiet strength as he navigates Ty Borden's shocking return. At first, Jack is frozen not in disbelief, but in awe of a miracle he had quietly prayed for but never expected. For years, he carried the grief of losing Ty like an old saddle, weathered and worn, but still strong. When he first lays eyes on Ty again, Jack's voice trembles slightly, betraying the flood of emotion beneath his calm surface. However, as always, Jack's strength lies in the grace and insight with which he deals with these profound emotions. He doesn't rush toward Ty with questions or judgments. Instead, he steps back, observes, and gives space for Ty and Amy to reconnect, knowing that healing can't be forced, it must unfold naturally. Jack later sits with Ty in the barn, where so many memories live, and in that quiet moment he says, "Life doesn't give us many second chances, son. But when it does, you hold on to them with everything you've got." It's not just advice, it's Jack opening his heart, showing Ty that forgiveness, love, and family will always be here. His eyes, heavy with experience, carry the depth of someone who has lost and loved deeply. Jack's emotional depth grounds the chaos of Ty's return, reminding everyone what Heartland has always stood for: loyalty, faith, and unconditional love. Georgie's journey has always been one of resilience, and her response to Ty's return reflects just how far she's come. She never admitted how much Ty's death affected her because she regarded him not only as a mentor, but also as a father figure. It was Ty who believed in her when she didn't believe in herself. As a result, when he returns, buried sorrow and unexpected healing emerge. At first, Georgie is stunned, silent, and wide-eyed, almost frozen in disbelief. She stares at him for a long moment, searching his face for familiarity, for answers. "Is it really you?" she whispers. She then embraces him with the raw intensity of someone who never got to say goodbye as shock gives way to emotion. She considers how Ty's return clarifies her own path later. She's matured into a strong, independent woman, one who now sees the importance of embracing the unexpected. Georgie makes the decision to warmly welcome Ty back, not only for the sake of Amy and Lindy, but also because she is aware that life rarely offers second chances. Her growth is evident in how she supports Amy without overshadowing her, quietly reminding her that it's okay to feel everything at once: anger, joy, love, and confusion. Georgie is prepared to walk that path with her family because she is aware that healing is a process. Lou Fleming's reaction to Ty's return is a powerful mix of emotion: conflicted, overwhelmed, yet tinged with hope. Lou has always been the pragmatic one, the planner, the fixer. She learned to keep her emotions in check, especially for Amy and Lindy's sake. But when she sees Ty standing at the ranch again, alive and changed, the structure she built to manage grief begins to crumble. 100 questions race through her mind. How is this possible? Where has he been? Why now? But despite her logical instincts, Lou can't help but feel a surge of joy rush through her chest. She approaches Ty cautiously, almost as though she is afraid he might return, and tears well up in her eyes. She tries to keep her composure for Amy's sake, but her voice cracks when she says, "We thought we lost you forever." Her feelings are unfiltered and layered with the agony of watching her sister suffer and the pressure of keeping the family together. Lou knows this return will stir up unresolved feelings and old wounds. However, there is also a sense of hope and relief. A hope that healing can begin in a new way. In private, she admits to Peter that she's scared for Amy, for Lindy, for how this will shift everything they've adjusted to. Yet beneath that fear is hope. Hope that this return might mean peace for Amy and a renewed sense of family for them all. Tim Fleming has always been a man of contradictions, gruff on the outside, fiercely loyal on the inside. He's stubborn, quick to anger, and often quicker to judge. But when it comes to family, his heart runs deep and true. Ty's shocking return in season 19 shakes Tim to his very core. And as always, he masks his rawest emotions the only way he knows how: through anger. When Ty walks into view, it's as if time stutters and then rushes forward all at once. Tim really sees him not as a ghost or a memory, but as a real person. He is a man caught between disbelief and a flood of emotion he has spent years trying to suppress for a heartbeat as his breath catches in his throat. But he doesn't cry. Tim not instead. He uses rage as his only weapon, clenching his fists and tightening his jaw. Something breaks in Tim when their eyes meet. Years of pain, confusion, and loss rise to the surface, unstoppable and suffocating. He screams, his voice hoarse from emotions he refuses to name. "Where are you now?" he demands, his tone sharp and accusing. "How could you let Amy suffer like that?" The words come quickly, harsh, and almost cruel. But behind the fury, his eyes betray a deeper truth. Their rims are red and raw from sleepless nights and silent grief, and they glisten with unwiped tears. Because a man who loved Ty like a son and has been mourning him ever since the day he disappeared lies beneath the tough exterior, beneath the harsh words and clenched fists. Tim has never done well with shock. It scrambles his thoughts, stirs old trauma, and strips away his self-control. His first reaction has always been to fight, during intense emotional upheaval, fighting for control, fighting pain, and fighting the vulnerability that threatens to destroy him. His shield is logic, and when logic fails, his sword is rage. Do you know what you caused this family to go through? He growls, but his voice has a tremble that he can't hide, and a softness seeps through the cracks in his carefully constructed fayad. And he can't look Ty in the eyes. Not really. Because if he does, if he sees the truth reflected back, the guilt, the pain, the love, it might all come crashing down. And Tim's not sure he's strong enough to survive that again. Because the truth is, beneath the anger, Tim's heart is breaking. And maybe, just maybe, beginning to heal. Tim saddles his horse and rides out on his own later that evening, when the house is quiet and everyone is distracted by the whirlwind of emotions and long-awaited reunions. No one asks where he's going. They know better. He rides until the ranch disappears in the distance behind him, and the only sounds are the wind in the grass and the hawk's distant cries. And then he stops at the edge of the field where he first taught Ty to rope and ride. A long time ago, Tim dismounts there, surrounded by memory whispers and the expansive sky. The silence presses in on him, gentle and unrelenting. It does not evaluate. It simply waits. And finally, Tim lets go. He falls to his knees in the tall grass, and the dam breaks. His shoulders shake with sobs he doesn't try to silence. Years of grief, of guilt, of pent-up emotion pour out of him. All the things he never said. All the nights he prayed for a miracle. All the times he'd cursed Ty for leaving. It all rises like a storm and finally spills out into the stillness. When he finally manages to speak to Ty again, he does so in a moment, free of pride and resentment. All that's left is the truth. His voice is rough, barely more than a whisper. You were gone. And I couldn't protect Amy. Or Lindy. I failed them. He expects silence. He expects blame. But what he gets is grace. Ty kneels beside him, his expression calm but his eyes full of sorrow. You didn't fail, Tim, he says, his voice quiet but certain. You kept them safe. You kept hope alive. And that's when something inside Tim finally gives. The bitterness, the blame, the weight of years, all of it softens, melts, and flows into something else. Something he thought he'd lost forever, forgiveness. It is not grand or loud. It's not some dramatic reckoning. It's just two men, broken and trying to mend. And in that silent exchange, a new understanding is born, one built not on perfection, but on love and shared pain. Later, as the evening light dims and the ranch is wrapped in twilight, the most heart-wrenching moment of all quietly unfolds. Ty and Amy, alone at the old cabin by the lake, sit side by side. Every beam and floorboard is etched with echoes of their love, so the place is full of memories. The silence inside is not empty. It is thick, with longing, with guilt, with 1,000 words left unspoken over the years. Amy turns to Ty, her face pale but her eyes blazing with emotion. Her voice trembles as she says, I thought I'd never see you again. She barely finishes the sentence before her voice cracks. The weight of years of raising Lindy alone, of grieving without closure, crashes into that single line. Ty reaches for her hand. No words. Simply touch. And in that simple connection, everything unsaid is acknowledged. The agony, the romance, the survival. Finally, he begins to tell her the truth. About the danger. About the impossible choice. About how every moment away from her was like breathing through broken glass. Amy takes note. Each word draws blood, but she doesn't look away. You should have trusted me, she says finally. We were always a team. Ty nods, his voice hoarse. I know. And not a day went by that I didn't love you. I thought I was doing the right thing. They cry together. Not just for what was lost, but for what can still be saved. Amy tells him about Lindy. Her first word. Her fear of thunder. Her stubborn streak. The way she laughs in her sleep just like her father once did. Ty weeps for every moment he missed. And then Amy looks at him, really looks, and says, she deserves to know you. We both do. Ty's voice breaks completely. If you'll let me, I'll spend the rest of my life making things right. And in that moment, between heartbreak and healing, a new beginning is born. It's fresh. It's imperfect. But it's real. Because that's what love is. Not flawless. Not easy. But lasting. And there we have it, Heartland family. Ty Borden's return in Heartland Season 19. Episode 1 wasn't just a twist of fate. It was a homecoming messy, beautiful, and profoundly human.